So meditation is very popular this day and age, but you yourself have been using and practicing and teaching meditation for quite a while now. So can you give us a bit about your background of how you came to discover meditation?
Well, I learnt, over 30 years ago and have practiced it every day. So as I say to a lot of people, it's not something that we've decided to start using in recent years. We've been using meditation in all our programs for, over 20 years, really as part of the Griffith Group programs in all our leadership and corporate training and development programs, because it just has such an amazing result and benefit for individuals. So our philosophy has always been whole person development. You want to develop mind, body, heart and spirit. But I mean, for me personally, I just gained so much from it. I came out of a professional sporting background in skiing. I learnt the technique as part of a recovery program following an accident, and then sort of became very interested in it, and that's going back into the 80s, and really learnt how to teach the technique, and then began to apply it in sporting groups and organisations back then. And that sort of evolved over many, many years. So, I mean, our organisational programs have evolved enormously. And, we put through literally thousands of people every year through all our programs, but the meditation's always a key core component of that in terms of what we do. Why? Because it's just produced amazing results and benefits both individually and for the organisation.
So you've been working with leaders and organisations for 20 odd years. What do you find is some of the biggest challenges that they face, and how is meditation specifically helping or addressing those challenges?
The issue of today, is leadership. Today we really have to understand that the big opportunities for organisation is the development of their leaders, because that really drives culture. So there's a kind of an unconscious, if you like, focus on what we really refer to as the systems and processes. They're the external game, strategy, systems, processes, IT, all incredibly significant in terms of organisational evolution and development. But the biggest issue is getting the attention onto changing cultures. And it's very interesting, topical, of course, with the Australian Cricket Association. Historically, you'll look back and you'll see that the direction of leadership, can be very much lacking in self-awareness, strong ego, a win at all costs sort of mentality, or really an inability to sort of encompass an understanding of how to develop an authentic leadership quality within an individual that's open to feedback, open to change, open to new learning. So the leadership focus has really changed, and the development of more self-awareness, more mindfulness, reduction in ego, because these are the qualities that really begin to engage teams in the equality of a conversation, the ability to speak up, the ability to express one's views and ideas and creativity. So this whole engagement process with greater depth of authenticity, the development of humility, these are all the essential ingredients for the evolution and development of leadership within organisations, and that's where you have to focus to really make a big difference today within the culture of an organisation.
And how does meditation tie into supporting all of those areas?
Well, it's really a key ingredient, because when we talk about self-awareness or this ability to operate within the environment with more focus on culture and people, what meditation tends to do is that it just increases the individual's energy, it increases the clarity of thought process, But underneath all of that, it has a very big shift in self-confidence and self-esteem. So, you know, what happens is that an individual leader, as you go a little bit more into higher levels of leadership, actually the journey becomes a little bit more isolated, you know, in the sense that there's less people to engage with, you know, because there's greater accountability and responsibility. So confidence has got to grow, self-esteem's got to grow, but not ego. Self-confidence, it's funny, you know, an individual that's got a strong ego may not necessarily have good self-esteem. So they're fragile in the context of receiving feedback or, you know, getting information that's not necessarily positive. But someone that's meditating develops a really comfortable level of inner self-esteem. So they're very comfortable in receiving negative feedback, which they receive as being a positive, because if they can learn from it rather than defend their position, it's like don't shoot the messenger. You know, develop a culture within the organisation that encourages feedback that is helpful, you know, not discourage feedback because you are always talking it as being a negative. But that depends on the state of the individual. So if they're fragile, you know, if they lack self-esteem, if they've got a strong ego, then they're not going to encourage that kind of behaviour. So meditation changes that, you know, and creates a more open, learning, you know, dialogue environment. And that's because individuals become very comfortable with receiving different types of feedback regardless. It doesn't affect their own sense of who they are. So self-esteem, confidence grows generally with meditation.